transformation occurring in your world as all of you are coming to see the parts of your lives that must come into a new alignment. And what we really must say to you at this time is that creating the new is more important than doing anything with the old. Now, sometimes what has happened is simply like the newspapers that you accumulate and need to throw away. If you kept all the newspapers in your house and you wondered what to do with them, you might make a mess of them, you might somehow let them spill all over the floor, and you would not be able to create a space that you could focus in. Now, sometimes the story of the past must simply be washed away. And if you ask yourself again and again, what is the lesson that I have had to gain from this experience, you will actually continue to generate that experience, because asking what did I need to learn from this is going to bring about something that teaches you the lesson that you didn't get. But if you come to see that experience as simply a lesson in what you don't want to create again, you can focus upon the opposite feeling experience. So all you really need to do is remember how that experience made you feel and ask yourself, what is the opposite feeling frequency? And what moment, or rather what in this moment is going to help you expand into that frequency the most? It could simply be going out and taking a walk in nature. It could be talking to a good friend. It could be focusing on your creative expansion. It could be listening to some good music. It could be any sort of thing. Though it must be something that brings you into the feeling frequency that you prefer, of excitement, of passion, of love, of balance. And in that state then, and only then, are you really able to make contact with these higher realms of beings like ourselves, of angels, of nature spirits, of these beings from different planes that can come to support you in expanding your frequency. Now, what you must understand is that many of these different planes have many different levels of expression. There are positive beings from these realms, and there are negative beings from these realms. At least that is the way that you humans experience it. However, what is more true about reality is that whatever you put out is what you get back. So when you are living your life in a frequency of fear or of uncertainty or even slight concern, worry, that is not seeming that fear-based, there may be some rational justification for that feeling, yet despite it, there's still fear present. When you live your life in that frequency, the other realms that you intend to connect to will also match that very same frequency. And so you have to learn that before you request to open any such portal to higher dimensional beings, that your feeling frequency is one that is at least neutral. For when you open such a portal in a lower frequency of fear, and worry is a state of fear as well, you will generate a response that feels that same way. Now, this is occurring in your collective in many ways, as many people are working towards fixing the old systems that no longer serve you. They are doing so by protesting, by blaming others, by all sorts of expressions and activities that actually generate more fear. Now, we actually don't see this as a bad thing. We see this as a necessary step in your evolution. So, what this is doing is that it is bringing a lot of people who are in a state of a great numbness or ignorance into an awareness of the fear that is living in the background of their consciousness most of the time. However, you light workers, starseeds, and evolved souls need no influence of this nature. You need not to focus upon these sorts of things. You must simply have a clear awareness of what is really happening. The old energies are stirring to the surface so that they can transform. But again, what is most important is that you focus upon creating the new. You are focusing upon creating the new systems of unification, of love between people, of contact with these higher realms, and a transparent sharing between one another, in order to create this new time in which all beings are unified and all beings are empowered, and you remember the great power and importance of nature and your connection to it, or more than your connection to it, that you are nature and that there has never been the potential to disconnect you with nature, because you are nature. So, this is the general message. And we may explore this in many ways with your individual questions, helping you to get a clearer sense of who you are right now, realizing that the past is not something that is out there or back there. It is a story that you tell yourself now. And if you tell yourself a different story, or you at least have a different attitude about it, the experiences you generate in your seeming future, which is again right now, will be much different. And again, that is what is most important to create, is a state of allowing the future realities to descend into you, rather than attempting to learn from the past realities in order to prepare for a future. That is a vibration of worry and fear, and it is not going to help you. Alright, so you may begin whenever you wish with your questions.
I have a question on behalf of my good friend who wasn't able to be on the call today. She has been struggling financially a lot, and not knowing how her rent will get paid and how her electricity will stay on. I mean, really basic root chakra needs. She's a very galactic light worker, powerful being, but she's in a lot of survival fear, and she's just wondering if a man is going to come in to be with her, or she just wants to know, try to understand, the purpose of this time, and when she's going to move forward into a more supported flowing state, and what she can do to bring herself into that more supported state.
To be in a supported state is to remember the support that is always there. And so at this time, many of you will be called to find grounding and support in ways that are different than what you considered to be before. As old systems collapse, the ways that you must live on your own and isolated may not continue, and community living may be the way for the future for many people who cannot seem to make it on their own anymore. And actually, when you focus upon those connections that nourish you the most at that deep level of feeling family, feeling belonging, your root chakra relaxes and opens. Now, your root chakra is not merely your own body's survival needs. It is, through extension, your connection with the people that help you to feel the most balanced and grounded. Because at a biological genetic level, your bodies still remember those times in which you needed a community to survive. And you humans have attempted to go beyond your nature as a pack animal, so to speak. And opening the root chakra really means, in a way, to allow yourself to rely on those others in your life more. And so for her, and for others going through a similar issue, we would ask, how much do you allow yourself to rely on others? is that comfortable for you? And are you choosing the right people to rely upon? Now, we would also ask your friend and anyone going in the situation, are you doing the most basic things to make you feel calm and safe? Are you walking in nature? Are you meditating every day? Are you eating the foods that you know make you feel grounded? Are you exercising daily? As the root chakra also needs all of these as much as it needs that sense of community. And again, by being in the balanced state, most of the time you will simply get the message about the next steps to take for you. When you find that balanced state, much of this information will simply come to you quite naturally. And also when you are in that balanced state, your field of attraction will bring forward those sorts of things that allow you to feel nurtured, to feel loved, to feel stable and secure. So, again, this may be challenging when there is this mental tendency to look towards the future and worry about the next day. Though for your friend and for others in this situation, always come to this moment and realize that today you are going to get through it. Today you are going to survive. Your conditioning has been to look towards the future and make great plans of how it is all going to work. And really, the times to come are bringing you all back to that state of remembering that it is here and now, and when things are in alignment, or at least sufficient for your survival and your well-being today, then why think so much about tomorrow? Yes, do the best you can to make tomorrow good, though don't allow the mind to generate stress. Find ways that stress dissipates, and naturally you will draw forward through what you describe as the law of attraction, things that make you feel more safe, more comfortable, and more in alignment with the natural flow of the universe.
So is there any specific message just to...
We gave that quite specific message.
Yeah, it's really about existing in the now.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and it, again, as we began with, it is about especially learning how to rely on each other as a family, as a tribe, or as a community. Again, whatever term in your language you use matters not so much to us.
Mm-hmm.
That is a key part of how those stress hormones dissipate, as the hormones of connection and community are generated when you are around people, and especially when you touch people physically. And that allows you to release the stress, to balance yourself, and to come into a calm and composed state, so that, again, the laws of attraction can work for you.
So she needs to get more physically with more people and reach out to her community and find the people that help her feel secure.
Yes, precisely.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
We thank you.
Pleiadian Council.
Yes.
So I have a rather personal situation
Yes.
I'm facing right now, and regarding a betrayal, a very deep betrayal by my beloved, and I know it wasn't intentional, and he was acting out of fear and what he thought to be for my protection, and now I'm facing the aftermath of what occurred, and I'm really feeling a lot of deep uncertainty about whether or not I can ever trust him again, and what the future of my living situation is, as we've been living together for 4 years. And so I was just wondering if you could advise how I could best navigate this circumstance, in particular with my living situation and the relationship.
as you understand the word trust, we would not describe that as the sort of connection that we would advise. So, understanding clearly this person's mental state and the belief systems operating here will help you to understand how to negotiate with them and how to interact with them in different ways, as there is not really much you can do to reason with them. You can offer a frequency of love. You can say, I understand that you feel that way. I understand that you believe that. However, I'm having a different experience. You can say, I need space from you right now. You can say, I don't have the capacity to have this conversation another time. These are the sorts of things that you may have to do, as there is a natural separation process that may be necessary for you to be able to find your center again. And as is his situation now, and also yours, it is not something that ought to happen in a dramatic and rapid way, because to do so would actually create more stress for both of you and would cause, in a longer term sense, greater harm. There may be a feeling of wanting to move away quickly, or there may be a feeling of wanting to stay forever simultaneously.
Yes.
And when you are in this sort of a state, it is important to notice whenever your heart rate increases, whenever you start to feel impulsive, whenever you start to feel like what you are saying is happening through you rather than you are deliberately saying it word for word, knowing why you are saying it, that you must take a step back and you must say, I need to have this conversation when I'm in a clearer space, and there's nothing more I can do for you right now. Because whenever you find yourself in that impulsive state, there's going to be a strange transference of energy that leaves you more disoriented later. And this separation process will be a way that you can allow yourself to honor both parts of you, the part that wants to move away very quickly by taking the moment to disconnect when you have to, and the part of you that wants to stay forever by honoring the importance of this connection, what you have gained from connecting with each other, and the codes that you transmit to this day. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. And I have noticed that I feel very split down the middle, like 50-50. Half of me wants to stay, half of me wants to leave. And it's just very confusing right now, because I feel like I can't plan my life, and that maybe the gift of this is that it does bring me back to the present moment.
Yes.
Like I can only be in the present moment. Is that how I should be thinking of this?
Yes.
But that being said, our lease is due for renewal in February, so we could sign another year lease, which would offer me more stability. However, there are some legal issues that I have to face regarding what happened, and I don't know how it's going to affect the relationship during this time period. Could you advise a little bit more about the actual living situation in this next year?
Do you really want to spend another year with this person?
I don't think so.
We would advise against that. We would advise that you really make this decision on your own from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Though, as we see this energy, it is time for this connection to naturally go separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
And the time period of these 3 months to allow that separation to occur is a sufficient amount of time to do it in a healthy way, to be able to remain friends and still have very clear boundaries, will allow for this to transpire in most healthy ways for everyone. And as per the other issues that can arise, we encourage you to have a non-attached attitude to whatever may happen, understanding that this is a part of the formula laid forward by many extraterrestrial star family beings supporting you. This formula is follow your highest excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome. And that last part of the formula is equally important and perhaps less understood in your reality than the first part. Having no insistence on a particular outcome means that you surrender to the fact that your higher mind or your oversoul or your spiritual self, which is generating your reality beyond the knowing of your human self and human mind, actually knows much better, and that when you allow what you are experiencing to happen without resistance, that higher mind will put the pieces in the right place for you again and again. So in that state of surrender and acceptance, you always will move towards what you would prefer, yet you will not fight against or resist or worry so much about what might go wrong. Knowing that all that may happen will be attracted to you through your vibrational state will help. So the universe only feels the intensity with which you focus. If you are intensely focused on what you don't want, that will be your experience. If you are intensely focused on what you do want without resistance to what you don't want, that will be what you experience. So in this situation, simply, again, as we have said in the other question, allow yourself to come back again and again to that state of relaxation. Again, here, these issues relate to your root chakra. So the more that you can bring yourself into that balanced state, knowing that today things are well and things are in alignment, you can release the fear of what potential future may come and show up fully in that balanced state to what has to happen today. And that sort of non-attached, open attitude will almost always generate the most positive results. And when it doesn't mean that things are not working out for you. It means that there's a missing piece still that your higher mind will show you when you can stay open and receptive throughout the challenge.
Thank you.
Yes.
As far as the timing of when I have these important discussions with him, as far as my possible decision to just not renew the lease with him in February and move out on my own, there's obviously Thanksgiving holidays coming up right around the corner, and then he's actually going to be in vacationing for 2 weeks in December, and then I'm going to be out of town for 3 weeks. So we'll have over a month where we're not in the same physical space, and that I won't be returning till early January. Would it be appropriate to have this discussion before he leaves?
That would be the most appropriate. That will be much easier, as then having the conversation and taking the space, you will both be able to process anything that may come up in your own way and feel what it's like to have those cords and energetic connections falling away.
So it's important for him to be away and setting the right intention for the dissolution of the partnership, and to give him that benefit of using that space wisely, as
Yes.
I'm also feeling this.
Yes. And if it feels right and all right to have a third party there to hold that space and that conversation, we may suggest that.
Okay. Thank you.
Our thanks to you as well.
I just want to make sure that this is recording because I just pressed the red dot, but it's going round and round. That might be the battery charging.
It's there's a square in the middle that looks like a stop button that you press.
I think it's recording. Usually it'll be a square if it's...
All right, let us continue.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello.
My question is forming, so bear with me as I form it. As you know, I'm in the process of healing, of separating, of moving away from this beloved I had, and I feel myself making progress and moving into deeper levels of forgiveness and acceptance. I still think about him quite a lot. I still love him. I know that the angels told me that this is the relationship that is teaching me how to love, and I'm wondering how that is happening, and what I'm learning, and I'm also remembering what you said in the introduction about, what do I learn from this? I'm like, I'm thinking about that. And I am wanting to move forward and manifest like a much greater, more lasting beloved. I guess I would love some assistance with that. And I also feel that part of what I'm needing is to really value myself, and I am seeking to try to imagine what it might be like to be loved in a way I've never been loved in this lifetime. And I feel like just having some sort of idea of like what I can even expect or wish for. So I am seeking to bring myself into like this positive expectation, like, I could manifest a relationship that is so deep and so loving in all these ways, and I'm trying to bring myself into an awareness of what is possible, because I don't feel that I have experienced that or know what that feels like yet. I have another question regards to all this, but I just want to get started with what you have to say about, again, the teaching me how to love and how to, how to move forward and, with this, and how to lay this to rest in the best way, and how to move forward to something greater. Thank you.
As we see your energy at this, in picturing that feeling of being deeply loved, in simply immersing yourself in that experience of a deeper love, someone who can show up for you in a way that no one has shown up for you before, you are really aligning your energy with that reality. And again, as we have begun this transmission, it is in creating the new that the old dissolves. And so the only lesson, if we can be very precise about it here, is that you need someone who can fully show up to love you. And before, these connections were only part of it. And you must now say no to any connection that is not all of the love that you deserve and you desire. And so this love that is so deep, so complete, is possible when you love completely yourself. And we see you coming very much closer to this space by coming naturally into this place of acceptance of everything that is, of coming to see the great joy and bounty that can be had simply through your own experience. And in the state of love for yourself, you can open yourself to the love from the other.
How do I get to that state of love to myself? What does that look like? What actions or feelings beliefs can you guide me towards that?
Well, again, coming back to that formula of following your highest excitement to the best of your ability with no insistence on a particular outcome is quite enough to naturally emulate and experience and find your own journey with self-love. So self-love is, in that case, is doing exactly what you love the very most and prioritizing that above all else regularly.
Is there anything for me to know about how this relationship is teaching me how to love? The one that I just completed, that I'm in process of completing?
Well, when you say in the process of completing, you cut your energy off from the new connections that are available to you.
Okay.
And when you say you have completed it, you align with the present moment reality and all that could become. So again, it is not in looking back, it is in looking forward that you will find the freedom and the joy. Sometimes the experiences you have are only there to teach you what you don't prefer, so that you can again focus on what you do prefer. And what this connection has taught you is that you don't prefer someone who is only partially available for you. You don't prefer someone who cannot show up for the deeper parts of your life and the deeper emotions within you. And now that your journey has been in showing up for yourself to those deeper parts of your own journey, to be able to love yourself in the pain and the confusion that arises in your process of transformation. And you are coming to learn that you prefer and you need someone who can do that. And that shallow connections are not fulfilling and not something that your soul wants anymore. That is the lesson. And it is, in a way, simple. It is not something that you have to go back into. Because, again, as we have said to you before, every time you go back into the images and the projections of that old connection, you are cutting yourself off from what could become, and you are losing a lot of your vital life force energy. So we would ask you to, when you find yourself thinking of playing out a scene from the past that makes a feeling in your body that is negative, shrink it into a thought bubble and evaporate it. And then generate a new thought bubble where you're in a new reality with a new lover. And he is giving you a box of chocolates, and he is dropping rose petals on you, and he is massaging you with very fragrant oil, and he is touching you in all the ways that make you feel very loved, very nourished, and it is a euphoric experience. We would play out that thought bubble and live in that reality before we would allow any other thought of the past to emerge. So these new images may seem like fantasies, which some suggest to avoid, though the fantasy or the dream is here for you to focus upon that feeling of being loved. It is not about what you are imagining. It is more about that feeling of being in love, to bring you back into that state of openness. And when you are in that passionate state, then take inspired action, because the feeling alone is not enough without action. When you find yourself coming back to that feeling, then ask yourself, what would you like to do the most with it? And by using it to be active in your physical reality, you create a tangible experience or a tangible manifestation that takes that vibration of love and crystallizes it so that you can keep it and hold it within your energy field. Even taking a walk in a beautiful place crystallizes that vibration of love and self-love in a way that you can hold on to it. Writing or creating or painting or singing will also crystallize it into something that you can hold on and keep with you. Having communications with friends or working on creative projects or exercising and stretching also crystallize that loving energy in a way that you can keep it in your energy field with you. And every time you do that, you are adding to your energetic bank account of love, you could say. And that is what attracts to you those more loving connections.
Yes. I have a question about my sexuality in
Yes.
regards to this. Yes. I've been celibate for almost 2 decades, and I have had some sexual trauma in the past that has informed my arousal in ways that are not helpful, and I'm seeking to have a new arousal, to have a new blueprint, a new synapses, connections in my nervous system, in my sexual being. And it is interesting that I've gone this long without being penetrated, and I wonder if I have a low sex drive or if it's just something that is not activated, and I want to feel that in with my future beloved, that I can have a beautiful sexual relationship, and that this can be activated. I'm experiencing pelvic floor prolapse as well, and that will need to be healed as well in order to have a healthy sexual connection. And I want to feel that all this can come together, and that I can have a very healthy sexual life, not only with myself, but with my future beloved. And in forming these, I was able to connect to the earth intensities, experiences that are kind of benign in this way. And I don't know, I haven't really explored that further, but I'm not sure how to bring about a healthy sexuality, and to also revitalize my sexual organs.
Yes. And you are engaging in self-pleasure, yes?
At times, yes, but it's tricky to not go to the old model.
All right. Are you using any tools, any devices to aid in your sexual pleasure?
Are you recommending that I do?
Yes.
Like something with batteries?
Yes. If you prefer that. Okay, I can do that. Do you have any Well,
specific?
here it allows you to, again, visualize and get a clearer, we could say, memory, future memory of what those experiences may be like. Because, again, both the future and the past are, in a way, illusion. They are shifting realities. You can generate those experiences by focusing on the futures you prefer. And your imagination is a big key into this. So sometimes these tools that can represent the future of what you would like to create are helpful in that experience. So this tool, again, in its newness, will be something that allows you to imagine new sorts of experiences and get more acquainted with this part of your body. Now, as well, there are certain exercises. And for you, the exercise that we suggest most is Kundalini Yoga. So there are certain practices within this broad range of ideas and modalities and technologies that will help you very much. And we suggest you to be very explorative when it comes to looking into this practice and focus upon the ones that make you feel the most alive and active and joyful. Doing these practices helps you to cultivate a healthier energy in those lower chakras. And again, these old circuits, as you have described them, need to rise up into the heart. So again, do not fear that tendency, that circuit, for in and of itself, it is not a negative thing. It may seek expression at times, though there are ways that you can allow it to express in a healthy way. Now, what is making those patterns worse is the shame that is an additional layer around them. This shame is not something that is intrinsic to the pattern itself, though it is part of the circuit of trauma. And so releasing those energy patterns may be helpful. Now, one thing that you can do is to do an inner child work process, or in this case, it is both a process of focusing on experiences you had as a child and processes later in life, and recapitulating them and changing the memory so that you create a new blueprint, so that you as yourself today go back to those old versions of yourself and you confer with them and you help them meet their needs, and you change the memories by bringing in guides and angels and light beings into the memories to send that pure energy of unconditional love to these past versions of yourself. Will also help this trauma in releasing, and will help you to release any of that fear of your sexuality. Now, at certain times, you may be also inspired to take substances you may know to be aphrodisiacs with intention, such as the maca root powder, and so on and so forth, the damiana. These things may help you when you use them in a ritual way to allow the sexual energy to be experienced, to be expressed, to be, in a way, willful with it so that it arises. And with all else we have suggested, it will kind of culminate in many different cycles of release, of expansion, of pleasure. And really, the key energetic behind all of this is to deepen your awareness into the pleasure that is innate in your body, to focus on the feeling alone, and notice how the mind can create definitions about the feeling. The mind can say, oh, this feeling is wrong or this feeling is bad. Yet the body does not have those sort of definitions at its core. The body only feels. And even a feeling that you define as painful is in a way just a sensation. When you simply feel all that is in the body and breathe into it and enjoy what your body is experiencing as much as you can, there will be a great awakening of that energy. So things that you may find to be rather normal can also become sensual and therefore sexual experiences, such as eating your favorite foods, such as looking at plants and touching them, such as taking a walk. All of this can awaken that same energy of your lower chakras, of your second chakra, your sacral chakra, which has all to do with feelings and pleasure. So allowing yourself to feel these energies there, and then naturally raise these energies into your heart by embracing them, by saying that no matter what I feel or what happens, I choose to love myself. And breathing deep into those lower parts of your body, and as you exhale, visualizing that energy rise up from the lower chakras into your heart and beyond, will help you to let that energy truly integrate and truly be embraced in beautiful ways.
Wow. I was a little unclear about reworking the memories I'm not sure how I would do that, like how I would, like the actual trauma as it was happening, like I would change the story, or I would add angels to it, or I'm not sure exactly what you mean. How?
Feel the shame. Right?
For example,
Change the story.
there are many ways to do this process. Though, let's say that as a child, someone had a memory in which their mother got very mad at them for breaking something or doing something they were told not to do. As a result, the mother spanks them and sends them into timeout. This sense of shame stayed with that person for a very long time, and this memory was something they never integrated. So doing this process for them would look like imagining that they're back in that child's body, having that experience, feeling what that feels like within the body, and naturally the connection between the emotions and the sensations of that past time and the present time will be made as you go back in time. And then that person would take themselves out of their child perspective and feel themselves as an adult, as a third person perspective, witnessing the child and coming to the child and nurturing them, asking the child with permission, can I hold you? Are you okay? What are you feeling? It's all right to feel all that you are feeling. And what do you need? And as the child speaks their needs, this person would then change the memory to meet their needs. The person could then say to their mother, come and apologize. This child needs love. This child is hurting, and you are harming them. You are not listening to their needs. You are not letting them creatively explore their life, and this is what the child really needs. Then you could bring into the memory angels and figures of light that would fill that child with unconditional love and unify the child in the heart. So after the child feels that vibration of unconditional love and that memory is transformed, then picture the child reunifying in the heart. Now, this is a very helpful process because once you do it, it creates, again, this crystal in your consciousness. And the crystal then overlays on top of that old memory. So the memories and the experiences that you have, even when you're not really thinking about them, creates a film in the subconscious that plays again and again. By putting this new crystal overlay on top of it, whenever that memory or that experience comes up, the overlay brings that pure energy of unconditional love into the memory and rewrites that circuit in you, so that instead of having that negative experience you have in your past, because it is not as fixed as you believe it to be, you have this new experience in which the light beings and your higher self come to nurture your child and therefore nurture all of you.
Wow. So I can't make it that it didn't happen, but I can overlay it and transform it.
Yes.
So yeah, I would be changing it to, oh, it never happened.
And you can also do this with more recent experiences as well. Mm-hmm. Though again, that is not the most important thing. What we have spoken about first is more important. The focus on the pleasure of the moment and the potential of future realities that give you a feeling of great love. By having that feeling of great love already in the present, you can use that to change the memories and change those thoughts when they do arise again. Though again, being here in that present feeling of love and expansion, the positive anticipation of a pleasurable future is what is most important.
Wow. Okay. I really can't. Okay, because I do have some traumatic memories of the breakup as well. And
yes.
And I could overlay.
You could overlay them with angels coming to hold you in those spaces.
Especially when reading that text that he sent.
Yes. Yeah. And but that's not. You're saying that's not really the most important thing, either.
It is a necessary thing, though. Again.
It is a necessary thing? Yes.
It is a necessary thing, but the most important thing is to continuously be in that feeling state of love by picturing those beautiful experiences that have yet to come, by cultivating the inner memory of what you are bringing forward from the future into the now, and by allowing that love to bring you to take inspired action. Because the feeling of love and the inspired action is what changes your reality the most. And it is important to change those memories and overlay them, because sometimes it prevents you from being in a state of love when you play the memory again. Though realize that you don't need to do that over and over again. You only need to do it 1 or 2 times so that it stops slowing you down. Do you understand?
Replaying the memories, but
Replaying the memories is slowing you down. So changing the memories 1 or 2 times will be a permission slip that allows you to stop being slowed down by them and continue to focus on the love in the present moment and the beautiful future realities of great pleasure that you are bringing into your life.
wow.
Nice.
Wow. Okay, so just once or twice I change it,
Yes.
and
Once it is changed, it is forever changed.
Right. Yeah.
and then I don't need to go back to
Nope.
it
No,
Nope.
because it's
It's a it's a new memory.
It doesn't have any influence on you in that old way anymore.
wow. It won't draw me back into it.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you as well.
Love that.
So helpful.
Yeah. Huh? I could. I don't know if I have that much specific stuff. Well, just right now, just having a lot of challenge with dry eyes and constipation. Just really wondering what I can do to help my eyes and my bowels, my digestion. Deanna knows.
Yes. We can lay out part of it, and she will have more details to fill in.
Cool.
I have dry eyes too.
Now, energetically speaking, the constipation has to do with not really being able to let go the feeling of pressure that you must do something in order to show up to life. You must do something in order to be worthy of receiving life. You must accomplish more or show up more or make it into a bigger production than it needs to be. So this will naturally ease up when you ease up and ease into life. And again, these suggestions we have given naturally to all of you for the root chakra are what we suggest for you as well. For this constipation is your body's response to being ungrounded. And the eyes in turn will heal from this, as the eyes are only dry due to the toxins you are not releasing the way that they are meant to be released.
So Kundalini yoga?
Well,
Or
are you drawn to
dance?
that?
Not really. I'm drawn more to dance.
Yes,
Beautiful
this is
music.
more of the path for you. For you, the Kundalini yoga might be a little bit too ungrounding. There are some practices within it that may be beneficial for you. However, we do not see this as the most natural path for you. Yet focusing on the root chakra and clearing those energies out is very, very helpful. And most certainly adding more fiber to your diet will always help you.
Yeah.
Having more natural fruits.
Yeah.
Starting your day off with plenty of water and perhaps some apple cider vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, finding ways to breathe deeper, meditation, those things that lower your stress levels will naturally as well bring you to feel more grounded and therefore more able to release and to let go.
Yeah, a lot of it is, I guess, still around money, really wanting to have a pathway to do my passion and have money coming in, because my mom, gave me quite a lot of money, and it's lessening all the time in my account, and I'm just wondering what is going to be my next financial vehicle. And yeah, I just wonder what you'd say about that. I mean, I know I love I'm a singer and a song facilitator and a sound healer and a teacher and an energy healer. I mean, I know all that stuff is in me, and a children's, guide, but I guess it's all part of being grounded that I'll start to begin to see the pathways to bring these things forward and bring financial abundance in streams, to my being.
Yes. And realizing that you have all of your needs met and affirming that to yourself and allowing yourself to recognize that you will never go without will help you in taking the pressure off. Because putting the pressure on your creative expression is diminishing it.
Yeah. Oh boy, does that ever make sense? Yeah, it feels like, it's like as long as I'm like, you must create so you have money, it almost like contaminates the actual life form of the creation itself.
You are creating as a gift of unconditional love.
Wow.
And in that unconditional love vibration, others will give back in unconditional love as well. With that feeling of pressure as you put out, that vibration does, as you have termed it, contaminate the energy frequency that others feel. They feel less
inspired,
willing or less free in their ability to respond in the most natural way because of that feeling of pressure. So allowing yourself to, when you wake up in the morning, focus directly upon what would bring you to feel the most passionate about being alive at that time. Now, we would say that waking up and immediately grounding yourself in some way by going out and hugging a tree, or by having your most favorite food, or by doing a couple of stretches. And again, we said that perhaps not Kundalini yoga is for you, but yoga in general, stretching, may be a very good way to wake up. And it can be very simple. Instead of allowing yourself to simply wait until you feel all right, it can be very powerful to just get up and do it, because you know that when you are in the flow, something will shift in your being. And in this way, you may notice that it is very easy to become a new version of yourself rapidly. In fact, you are becoming a new version of yourself in every nanosecond. You were never the same person you were before. That is how much you are shifting. And when you are in these states that you don't prefer, it is as simple as realizing, right now I'm feeling the way I don't want to feel. I need to focus somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that focus shift can be simply 1 second. And the focus shift will always come with a shift in the way that you're oriented in physical reality as a physical being. We understand that you are one who spends much time in dimensions 5 and beyond. And those dimensions are very important for your human collective to access. Though when you are not accessing the third dimension as well, you are not being a bridge, you are being more of a... we can't find the right metaphor. Though,
A vacancy.
and that perhaps itself is the metaphor, is that it is great that you are up there, yet when you are not also down here, you can't bring anyone else up there, and your purpose is to help them get up there too.
I get it.
It's down to your hair. To the earth.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much.
Yes, we thank you, and our love to each and every one of you.
Funny.
Pleiadian Council, I have a question. again, regarding the living situation, but in general, I've been having a sort of aversion to the idea of paying rent and signing my own lease, and I've been contemplating what other possibilities I could have as I move on from this relationship and back out into the world on my own. I've thought about renting a room in a house or living with friends, and it seems like no matter what options I entertain, I come against a wall within myself because I'm an introvert and I very much need a lot of time to myself, and the idea of living in community and living with a group of people. I'm again another situation where I'm split half and half. Where part of me is like, I want to be in the community.
Well,
and
are you really an introvert, or have you been surrounded by the wrong people for you?
Well, I feel like I've always been a mix.
All right.
And there is a part of me that does love people. But the partner I've been with the last 4 years is very introverted, and so I know I kind of maybe in a way regressed, for lack of a better word, into even more introversion during this time with him. So there is a part of me that does crave and yearn for that kind of community living, but then there's another part of me that also does like solitude and likes having my own place and running things my own way. So I just wanted to figure out, am I avoiding the idea of signing a lease because of poverty mentality, that I don't want to pay rent, or is that stemming from a true desire to be doing something different and be a part of community? And which scenario would be better for me for the remaining the year 2020?
Well, as we see this situation, the idea of being less tied down to one particular form of housing will be helpful for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it may express itself in many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You may move from a community to a different community to a different community. So that feeling of not wanting to pin yourself down is something important to honor.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeling of uncertainty is there as really part of this formula of following your excitement with no insistence on a particular outcome to the best of your ability. Not in that order, we messed it up. However, the act of doing that is in coming to learn from your experience what is your excitement and what is not your excitement. And so your world conditions you to attempt to know what you want before you choose it. And oftentimes, as is clearly illustrated in your world, you humans want something or think you want something to realize that you don't actually want that thing. You want aspects of it, and you want what you thought you would get from it, yet you realize that you get something different from it. And so you have to adjust accordingly. But because of your conditioning to think you must know before you can actually know, you shame yourself for not getting the point ahead of time. And so what we suggest to you is to really honor that you may not know all of these things until you really flow with life and learn from experience, and that moving around a bit and putting yourself into some new and different and varied situations will help you very much in refining what it really is you want.
Would it be okay to keep my office location, which is in downtown, and I've had this office since 2010, and I do have a good rate on the rent. And I mean, I could also sublease it if I wanted to as well. But would it be good to at least keep one anchor?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you see me possibly living kind of more nomadically in 2020.
Not necessarily nomadically, though perhaps moving into different communities within one location or one general area. If you want to go somewhere else and sublease, that is a very appropriate thing to do. So you have roots here and enjoy them, though allow yourself to be very spontaneous and listen to the flow of your heart at this time.
So it could even look like going to other states, perhaps.
Yes.
And spending months at a time in a certain state.
Yes.
Interesting. And then for the regular patients that I have here in Portland, I can always just fly in to see them and then go back to where I last was.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I was entertaining this idea as well. I just didn't know if I could do it in a grounded way. Is there a way I could, if I do live like this, how would I keep grounded throughout the experience?
Well, grounding comes within your body, comes from your connection to the earth. So by regularly taking time in nature, by meditating, by keeping your body nourished, and doing what you need to exercise and detox your body regularly, you will stay grounded even despite the movement.
And in these communities, do you see me living amongst other people or somehow more by myself or a combination? Or
Again, we do not see specifics. We see the collective vibration of many potential futures that you are drawing energy from in the present moment. So there are many different potentials, and you will choose between them. And we are telling you that they are very different, they are dynamic, they are allowing you to explore these ideas of breaking from the old conventions and having new experiences, of living within community and having time on your own at the same time, simultaneously. And most importantly, learning to trust your own heart's wisdom and your own heart's desire to be the greatest factor in the decisions that you do make.
Okay. So I'm really the captain of my ship.
Yes. You are all the captains of your ship.
Do you see Deanna or Denise living with us on our community land in the future?
Those potentials are real, yes.
Hey.
And when is this land going to manifest?
In the next year.
You think so?
The first one. Because we've got Kauai, Grass Valley, and Pacific Northwest, but I think hopefully within the next year, the Pacific Northwest one.
I want to know what the Pleiadians
Is there a
say.
path?
They already told
me.
Is there?
Well, again, what we have said is that the comings together of that community will happen. Those connections will be drawn forth between the people that are meant to be doing it, and the potential lands will present themselves to you. So you will be able to see what that may look like and feel what that feels like and know who is going to be involved during this next year.
Cool. Is there a pathway you see opening up for me? I know I'm seeking my beloved. I'm seeking to live in nature more, like, more rural area, and be with my beloved and have some semblance of family around me. And I wonder if there's a picture you could paint for me of where I'm heading, what I'm seeking to expand into.
Well, again, with all of the specific things that you have asked for, we can only say there are many different potential ways that may manifest. And reality is not as fixed and determined as you have come to think it to be. When you align with the frequency of love and live it in every moment, you will generate that experience. Though by getting too focused on the specific details, you push that experience away. Yeah. And this is actually the biggest message that we want to bring for all of you. What we can tell you about your union with your beloved is that it is a real potential that you are drawing to you when you focus and cultivate that self-love. And it will be one that allows you to feel deeply nourished and seen in your gifts. It is an experience that will bring you to realize that you are very powerful, and it will be something that also challenges you and your beloved, as all relationships do. So it is not without challenge, as nothing in your world is, though it is something that will nourish you so much that the challenge will be worth it. That is what all we can really say, for filling in too many details for you will actually make it harder for you to attract it, and therefore we cannot do it.
Thank you.
That's great.
Great. Babe, do you have any questions? This is my beloved Frank, who just joined us.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
Thank you for speaking with us.
Yes, it's our great pleasure.
I think I'll just... Are you able to tune into me and possibly just offer a message? Or would you prefer a question?
We usually prefer questions.
Okay, I'll be. Is everybody finished?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm just feeling gratitude.
All right.
For everything in my life, and I'm for Sarah, for my job, and this house, and yeah.
Do you want to ask about maybe perhaps your family members?
Well,
and being kind of estranged. Lois and the boys.
It does seem that some of my family members I have, they're not speaking. They're not in touch with me anymore. They seem to be. I'm guessing they're mad at me, but they're not speaking to me anymore. And right now, I've just been letting that be. But I wonder if perhaps you might suggest that I reach out to them.
One moment. Well, that depends what you want to say to them.
Okay.
What is your intention in connecting deeper with them? Or attempting to reconnect?
It feels good to be connected to family. It feels good to... I think it would help me to keep those bonds alive.
Yes.
So it does seem like it's worth the risk, or, to make an attempt occasionally.
Well, why is there a risk?
There's not really a risk.
Yes.
I don't really have anything to lose.
Precisely. So, do you fully believe that?
Perhaps I'll get some insights in the process of reaching out to them and see how that feels, and see how their response, what comes up as they respond to me or not respond to me.
Well, we really want you to know that you are fully deserving of love, and that there's no reason for anyone to hold back that love from you. And if you allow yourself to fully believe that, and you show yourselves examples of that, and you make that your preferred reality, the energy that you put out will generate an experience of greater love. That deeper belief in your worth is a requirement to see that in the external. So you believe that you are worthy in love, of love, in a way conditionally. And some of this has to do with the way that your family taught you to experience and receive love. Yet the deeper truth is that regardless of what you do or how you show up for someone or don't show up, or vice versa, how they do or do not show up for you, you are love, as everything in this universe is only a crystallization of Source's intention for unconditional love to be made manifest. And in opening to that awareness more and more, you will immerse yourself in that higher and higher love. So there may be manifestations, there may be experiences that show you these beliefs, and as we have suggested earlier, and we won't go too far into it, though you can ask others to refresh you on the process of doing inner child work and changing your memories to create new crystal overlays of unconditional love. You can reprogram yourself to be a more clearly attuned antenna for unconditional love, and in your belief, in your understanding of your worthiness, when you engage in a relationship with your family or in any relationship, there will be no concern of what may or may not happen, because you will know your worth in love and your embodiment of love regardless.
Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you as well.
Oh, can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Do you anticipate there'll be a time soon when this communication we have with our galactic family that some people have, with Pleiadians and many others, when that would become so overt and so in such a public experience that most people will see that and believe that, and you see that happening in our lifetimes?
Well, we know that all of you hope so. The channel certainly hopes so. And all of you are drawing forth the reality of open contact. And the window of contact for extraterrestrial life to land physically and meet you is around your year 2035 to 2040. Yet this is a shifting window that changes all the time with the actions that you take and the collective frequency of humanity. So the more that all of you show up to your own gifts of love and your embodiment of your passion, the more you will generate that reality. Now, in terms of the public becoming much more open to this contact with extraterrestrial life, well, we see that is already occurring in many ways, as there is a greater push for contact to occur through what is called a disclosure. And this initial push will come to soon find the deeper inner ability to find disclosure that everyone has. Now, at these times, there is a sort of a planetary detox of these older resistant energies. And as people get the message from the feedback of reality that what they're doing in fighting back and resisting powerfully is not working any longer, they will truly find that it is this inner knowing and inner remembrance of the extraterrestrial and angelic energies that they can truly ascend. So ultimately, you need not focus so much on the external, because every time you question, is everyone else on board? Are they all really getting it? You shift away from the reality in which they do, because again, it is your output that is required in order for this shift to happen. So by really focusing on your own reality and by holding in your own truth about the reality of contact with Pleiadians and others, that will be the reality you generate. And by believing it deeply in your own heart and speaking that with truth in the situations that require it, and by living it, you will generate that reality. So you never really change the planet you are on. You shift into a different reality through your own vibration, as the external world is in a way an illusion generated out of your own personal vibration. And when you change your vibration within, the external reality changes to match it. So you will shift into the reality of open contact by being as open as you choose to be to contact, and realize that every night you have that beautiful, well, we don't know how many hours you sleep, but you have that wonderful window to allow for contact to occur when you use your intention and you question your own beliefs. What do you believe is required for you to have dreams about us, and dreams in which you meet us? It could mean simply watching some videos before you sleep about us. It could mean using a certain crystal. It could mean playing a certain song. It could mean using a certain plant. For every one of you, it has a different way of manifesting that is also shifting as your own belief systems and your own vibrations shift. Though you all have that ability to show up to and open to contact in every moment. So it is you that chooses when your planet meets us, for it is you who generates the experience of this planet Earth.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to you, and with that, we will, allow the channel to return to his body. We are always with you, and so we cannot say we ever leave, for in your heart, each and every one of you can open to this contact, and we will allow that contact to resume in other ways. We love you very much, and we thank you again for this opportunity to share with you and co-create with you, and we wish you the most beautiful evening.
Thank you, Pleiadian Council.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask about your eye.
oh, they can give me my own information about
I
the
figured.
eye. Yay.
Thank you, Dante.
That was great. Yeah.
Now I'm curious, how's your eye doing? Did something